You're standing in, Eden Center Plaza, and there's this huge billboard of you behind you. How does that feel?
Would it be funny if I just said it felt right? It literally like I was like, ah, this feels right because it does. Because the thing is, it's like it's not necessarily even about the billboard. Because a lot of the time too, I feel like they appear for like a couple seconds and like disappear or whatever. It's more for like optics. But to me, it just means that like somebody somewhere saw my music, heard something about me, and was like, I want to give this guy a chance. And that to me matters more than anything. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but it's like, I've never taken something, even if it's like very tiny, for granted because it's so important to me when I see that somebody saw me and they were like, I like this guy. Because I feel like the reason why I started making music was because I felt so alone and I felt so
Mm,
unseen. So any little moment where I feel like someone saw me, especially let's say they're supporting like something where let's say it's controversial or it's like it's not everybody's cup of tea or opinion and they're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna show you love regardless. To me, that's like, wow, like I was myself and somebody was like, I like that. And that's so cool to me. Yeah.
yeah, I love that too. I actually almost forgot. So, speaking of you being seen, I wear this chain all the time. I got this
Mhm.
for my ex-wife and for my little kids, and for me, it's such an important part of who I am. But in honor of you and your style, I'm wearing my kid's necklace today, just to bring a
Yes.
little flair into the conversation.
Color, yes. Like I love that because when I was in college, I remember my teacher, my design teacher would always be like, "Oh, it's just the winters are so boring because people just wear black." And it's like because it was photography class, and he was like, "Oh, it's so boring to go take pictures outside because no one wears color or whatever." And I thought about that. I was just like, um, being colorful can be so fun and just such a mood booster. Like even if I'm down, like for example, like I could be down today and I know I have this interview and have to put on this like massive jacket and just do whatever. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
instantly I'm like, let's go. We're in character, uplifted. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah.
I don't know, that's kind of cool. So like, yeah, that's really dope. And it looks really awesome with your outfit too and your hat. So double win. Yeah.
Appreciate it. You said something there that I wanted to ask about. You said, like, even if someone doesn't agree with what I'm saying and they show me support, that feels so good. I love that because I'm a big believer that life is about our character and who we are and how we show up. There's been
Hmm.
such a crazy divide lately about, what you believe in sociopolitically, what side you're on of this or that, when at the end of the day, it doesn't matter necessarily what side you're on. It matters who you are and how you show up, right? To
Hmm.
someone in need, etc. So give me an idea about what you like, more detail about what you meant when you said, like, even if someone doesn't believe with what I'm saying, they give me a shout out.
Like for example, it's funny because I feel like sometimes people don't realize certain things. Like I'm a literal fat black gay man immigrant from Haiti. Like that's unchangeable. That's just who I am, public period. My existence can be political, period. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes even if I don't necessarily even intend for something to be a big deal, it turns out to be a big deal. And I'm just like, I'm just expressing myself exactly the way anybody else would express themselves, you know? And I feel like that can be challenging for me sometimes because I feel like I see the weight of that. And I think with certain songs, especially like Rich, for example, right? Like it was such a moment for me of just being like, okay, I'm aware of my existence. I know
Yeah.
what I look like. I know that if I say these words, people are going to have this reaction. But it was the first time in my life where I was like, but at what point is it that as an artist, I decide to just be myself? At what point that can I be frustrated and just say that to the world? At what point can I just want to? Am I not allowed to just vent or whatever? Like this is something that is allowed to me as a human being, permit period. And sometimes I feel like people can have opinions and like, oh, this is elevated, this is not elevated. And I'm like, who are you to say what's elevated and not elevated? You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think the best art, or not that like I make the best art or anything like that, but the things that relate the most to people are just raw moments that are imperfect where you're just lashing out sometimes or you're just frustrated or you're super happy or you're super sad, whatever. Like I was about giving myself that moment. So sometimes when I watch people like show some of my songs where I'm just standing on business, I'm just like, yeah, no, I wasn't born to work. I'm so sorry. Like I want to follow my passions and my dreams. That's the reason why I became a singer. Or like you say, go to the gym and lose 50 pounds and I might look good and then make it. But here I am with my stomach round, I lost 50 pounds and I make, like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, because I've never addressed these things. I feel like I was always living behind metaphors and hiding behind that. Whereas like I finally decided for this project where I was like, I really want to learn about branding. I really want to learn about storytelling. I really want to learn to sing better. I really want to learn to express myself and put my personality in my songs, even if it's something that not everybody's going to get or
Yeah,
like. And doing that, just like, I feel like it opened the world for me. And when I watch people show me love for my project, Scandalous, I'm like, wow, like, okay, I was myself, and I was myself in a way I've never been before, in a way where like I'm really being like, hey, this is me, like it is what it is. Like I don't know what you want me to tell you. And you still showed me love. That's I'm like, oh my God, like you mean to tell me I don't have to please everyone all the time? Like that's crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
Like I'm really that's something I'm so passionate about. It's like now I'm telling everybody just be yourself. Like go for it. It sounds corny, but like go.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you had a real awakening going into this album, into this project. And it's funny because, like, it's so easy to be a hater. It's so easy to be a criticizer. I mean, like you mentioned the weight thing. I've had, fluctuations with my weight. Look at Jelly Roll. I mean, that guy was known for who he was. He drops a couple 100 pounds, and all of a sudden people are looking at him differently, saying things differently, as opposed to, hey man, good for you for doing
Mm.
you, which is what it
It's
should come down to.
yeah, exactly. Because I feel like sometimes, like, I mean, I've heard everything in my life, and there's so many times where I feel like I've let it get to my head, and finally, where I'm like, no. And the thing is, it's not like I'm like, oh my God, go be fat, go be there, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like for me, the mentality of to follow your dreams, you have to be skinny. To go for whatever, you have to be skinny. To live life, you have to be skinny, or you have to wait for somebody's permission to approve of the way you live your life, and then you can start like living it or whatever. That concept
Mhm.
to me is so strange, and I feel like it was the first time of me trying to find ways to tackle that issue and just be like, hey, like, am I not valid if I don't fit a certain box? And what if I say I'm in the box you don't like and I'm thriving anyways? Does that make you mad? And if it does make you mad, um I think there's a discussion to be had there, and there's something that you need to look at internally, because I think people like me, deciding to live right now is showing you that hey, you yourself don't have to be perfect to do this. And not that I'm like, oh my God, I'm imperfect or whatever, but I think what it is it's just like everyone. It doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, as corny as it sounds. The moment you genuinely decide that your life is going to change, is going to change. Period.
Yeah.
And I feel like with my songs, I've been so much testing the manifestation thing with them and stuff, right? And like really trying to be like, hey, no, like if you put that energy into the world, like that's exactly what's gonna happen. You don't have to be depressed all the time or wait for somebody's permission. Be like, no, I'm standing my ground right
Yeah.
now and I'm just doing me, and it is what it is.
It's funny because, like, we as a society, at least for the last 50 to 100 years, have been, like, slowly conditioned into thinking that external is everything that's important, right? Like, how you
Mhm,
look, how you appear, what you're wearing. But you and I know that it's internal, right? Like,
mhm,
Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur were very different. One was ripped and one was not.
mhm,
And both of them were extremely confident, self-assured individuals who loved themselves and loved their art and put it out. And
mhm.
it didn't matter what they looked like or who they were, rolling with per se. It sounds like you're entering that phase of your life where you're loving yourself and you're more secure with yourself.
Yes, like definitely I do, words of affirmation every single day, and I always try to look at like the positives of things. And I look at myself, I'm like, hey, you're listened to by millions of people, or
Mm.
blah 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 blah. Like so that way I don't put myself down if a video doesn't go viral. I'm like, hey, those things have
Yeah,
happened. Like you're doing it. You're able to do all these things. And at the end of the day, I think one thing I really realize as well too is that like we're here to entertain people. I think that's something I never really looked at. It was always like, oh, worry about the music, worry about the music, blah blah blah. But also like there's a level of entertainment that I want to have now. I want people to look at me and be like, "Hey, I don't even know him, but I saw his show and it was amazing." Or like, I heard his song and I got his personality from there. Do I agree with what he's saying? Maybe yes, maybe not. But like, do I see what his personality is or what he stands for, or is he
mhm,
pushing something positive out into the world? I feel like that's how I'm kind of looking at things now. I'm just like, I'm just going to be myself and like try to make the change that I can make, if that makes sense, even if it's on a small scale or whatever. Um, and yeah, definitely entering the era of just like I think it's just I don't know if I can cuss in here. Can I? Can I
oh,
not?
yeah,
Oh, it's just really entering the era of like not giving a fuck, like genuinely. And I think that's such a journey for me. And the more I push myself outside of my comfort zone, and I'm just kind of like, wait a minute, I just did this and I didn't die. What? And I'm like,
yeah.
whoa, let's keep pushing. Like so, I think I think that's my message. Just like be yourself and um push your own boundaries in whatever way is healthy for you, and see and notice how you can survive whether you do the thing that you were so afraid of
Yeah,
for so long. You know what I mean? So yeah.
yeah. Absolutely, man. I have this on my desk and I've referenced it before. If it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. Like
Mhm.
we don't change in comfort. We change in discomfort. When
Yep.
you go outside of your box, that's when the growth and the miracles and all that stuff happens. Let's put a pin in this though, because I want
Yep.
to know the arc of how we got here.
Mhm.
So there's this amazing guy. He's born in Haiti. He lives there for 10 years. Then he goes to Florida on the way to Montreal. I've never been to Haiti. What was it like being born and raised for the first decade of your life?
Oh my god, it's so crazy because well, I think I went to Miami at 9. I don't know. I can never remember the very specifics or whatever, but I think would travel from Haiti to Miami or Haiti to Canada or wherever we'd go on vacation every single year or whatever. And I just have this vivid memory of ever since I was a kid, I always knew I was supposed to speak English. I don't know why. Like I was born in Haiti and all of that, but like I was always like, no, like this feels wrong. I feel like there's this language I'm supposed to speak and I'm not speaking it. Like what? And then Michael Jackson would not being born in Haiti feels wrong. No, no, no. I'm talking about like linguistics. Like um and but the country itself absolutely beautiful. I will like Haiti is such a beautiful country. So I mean so much corruption, yes. But beautiful country. The people are very loving. But also at the same time there can be a lot of controversies regarding like people just being themselves, which is like a whole
Mhm.
other issue that I'm not even gonna like try to tackle. But like it was a good time. Um, but was I fearful? And like, oh, if I was myself, even at a very young age, I could tell like, oh, if I was myself, would I be in danger? Sometimes I would feel that way. So when it was time to pack up and go to Miami and stuff like that, I can't lie. Part of me almost like felt relieved. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
cause
yeah.
I'll never forget being young and watching out the window. It was like, watching a guy jump from roof to roof and like people are chasing him with like pitchforks and fires and all of that. And then the next morning walking to school and I'm hearing the merchant say, oh, like, did you know, like, they found him sleeping with a guy the other day and like they're trying to find him and we couldn't find him. So essentially, like, I don't know what the consequences would have been if they captured that guy. You know what I mean? It's just thinking like, oh my God, what if that was me? Like, that would
Uh-huh.
be like, and then I'm thinking that as like a 8 year old, a 7 year old, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what am I going to do? And that leads to like, okay, I'm in the States now. And then like we're in Miami and I'm going to school for the first time. I don't know the language. I don't know anything. It's like starting over for the first time. I'm on a tangent right now, but I'll keep it short. But it's like realizing that hey, I can be more of myself. And I feel like that's where the journey kind of starts, right? Like you're like, oh, maybe I can have more freedom, but at the same time, I was always like in the closet or whatever, whatever. And then fast forward to
Yeah,
like I want to say like 2020, where I'm like, you know what? At some point, you just have to let your guard down and just do you. And I feel like that's what that arc has been. It's always been a journey of like finding myself. I think I'm still in that journey, but more and more, the little wins for me are realizing like, oh, Teddy likes doing this. Teddy
yeah,
doesn't like doing this. That's so fun. Yeah.
yeah. That's fascinating. I mean, I've seen tons of video and footage of Haiti because of the disaster that had happened there, but you said something so amazing was that before the age of 10, you already knew kind of more about who you were than a lot of people do. So you realized that you were, I guess, different than the other kids in school and you were attracted to men. And you already also had the awareness to say, yo, I got to maybe not talk about this because I'm fearful of how people are going to see me. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like for me, this was a realization that happened. Oh my God, like right when I entered kindergarten. I still remember the day before I went to kindergarten, which is it's so insane. Like, I went to school and I was like, oh my God, like, I think I'm having crushes on like the other boys or whatever. And listening to people around me and I knew right away not to say anything, right? Because like I feel like it's so common whether you're aware of anything or not or even knowing or whatever or not, it's just so um easy and passing to hear
Mhm.
people have opinions, you know? Like you hear something and you based on what people are saying, like, oh shit, am I wrong? Like you already have this instinct that like something with you is off, whether that's like who you like or like is my way of thinking wrong? Because I feel like ever since I was a kid, my thinking was pretty progressive, or like I wouldn't really understand some of the conservative views that people would have. Because to me, I would just be like, well, I don't really see how this is a problem. Let people be them or whatever, right? But like, yeah, like I've always known, and it's always been about navigating up and finding a way to be myself. And within that, I remember just how lonely that was. And I made a promise with myself where I was like, whatever it is that I do with my life, it needs to be something where somebody can see me live my life and they're like, wait, maybe I can be myself too. And that's
Yeah.
so important to me. So like, yeah,
So you mentioned this concept of loneliness twice now. How long did it last? Like, where did the loneliness start to end for you? Was it after you left Haiti, or did it
I don't
continue on?
think the loneliness has ever, well, I don't want to manifest that towards myself in the sense is like, I don't think the loneliness has ever ended, but I think I've always had this thing where I just feel like, and this is why music became so important for me. I was just kind of like, I don't, what does this human experience happening all around me? And a lot of the times I feel like I'm not part of that experience, or
Mm,
I'm always trying to find a way to insert myself into that experience. Because sometimes I can feel very robotic. And I felt like that way ever since I was a kid. Like I always felt like so robotic, but every time I would sing, like I'm like, wow, like this has to be what being human is like because like wow, like this feeling, I don't feel it on a regular basis, but it's there when I open my mouth and I do things and watching people react to me, um, I'm like, oh my god, so that means they get it. Like, but the issue with that is like it's so tied to like money or tied to success with streaming and stuff like that. But that's a conversation I have for myself all the time. Like, if I make a song because it genuinely made me feel something and it didn't get a reaction, does that mean like I didn't do a good job enough, or like I wasn't human enough, wasn't whatever. You know what I mean? So it, I don't know if the loneliness has ever disappeared, but it's definitely something that I feel like I'm actively working on. Where I'm like, I just want to find a way to freely express who I am as a person, and if I watch people come to me and they're like, "No, you're valid for that," I think it kind of
mhm,
erases bit by bit that loneliness, if that makes
yeah.
sense. From yeah,
It makes sense. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but when you look at the bigger picture of your career and creating a successful YouTube channel and million of followers, and now with the art, it's almost like you're trying to capture that. You're trying to capture the anti loneliness through the connection with the fans and other
yeah,
people.
yep, 100,
So,
100%, yeah.
so born in Haiti, America, US. I mean, Miami, Florida gets a lot of flack as a state. I've been there many times. I grew up like kind of going to Florida, but Miami's pretty progressive and there's a lot of amazing culture and color and different groups and ethnicities there. It was kind of lucky that you landed in Miami as opposed to somewhere else.
Oh, um, I mean, it's the only experience I've had, so I'm gonna say yes because the 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 only reason I'm gonna say yes is like um I saw the good and the uglies, like
Mm,
the good in the sense of like, you know, I didn't know how to speak English, I didn't know how to do anything, and I would watch some people go out of their way to try to form that connection. And I thought that was so cool because it's like, hey, here I am, this stranger that um this alien essentially, and you're trying to make contact and trying to understand me, and I thought that was really cool. But also I saw the other side of that where people make fun of you for an accent or how you act or whatever and blah 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 blah. um but definitely I think Miami is like so fun, so crazy. Oh my god, like I always compare it. It's not until I left Florida that I was like, oh my god, like it was really a zoo. Like it's insane. Like I wake up in the morning, I'm calling 911, like literally calling 911 because like I saw a yellow frog in my house. I'm like, oh my god, calling frogs are poisonous, and I'm yelling and I'm like, guys, call the cops. Like I can't do that. Or like leaving, going every day, you're going to school and and sometimes you're seeing a police drag a crocodile, alligator, whatever the hell it is, out of the road, and that's so normal. And you're on Bat's eye, or like somebody with a machete pulling out the most ginormous snake you've ever seen in your life, so casual after they killed it or whatever. It's just it's insane. Like eagles fighting iguanas, iguanas falling off of trees, and you hear the thump, and you're like, it's cold outside. Iguanas are falling off the trees. I'm just like, or tarantulas making nets in your. It's just insane, insanity, insanity. But I think living and surviving in that insanity just like taught me so much on how to like adapt. So I will say it was a really, it was definitely a positive. It taught me how to be a chameleon for sure, for sure. Yeah.
nice. So do you consider anything other than Canada home? Do you have like roots still in Haiti? How do you feel about it?
It's funny because right now I would say Canada is my home. Like I've been point period. I've been here for oh my god, I don't even know. Let me see. I mean, is it about to be 20 years? There's no way. Close to that now, probably. Like, so it's like no, like maybe like 15, 16 years, something like that. And I don't really. think of Haiti much in that sense because like a lot of it I don't remember because I was too young.
Mhm.
I can remember some things here and there. Florida, I feel like an instinct every time someone asks me where I'm from. I guess it was because of my formative years. I'm always like, oh, I'm from Florida, just on instinct, and I'm always like wait, no, I was born in Haiti, blah blah, blah, and I have to go to the whole thing. But now it's like I'm in Toronto and I'm like, oh my God, like yeah, like it just feels right. Like I don't know how to explain it. It feels nice. Like I can go visit other places, but at the end of the day, I feel like I will always come back here. Maybe in the winter, I'll be like, oh, let me go somewhere warm. But yeah, Canada's definitely home, and it just feels so accepting because it was. I remember the sigh of relief I felt when we went to that courtroom and we had to do the citizenship test,
Yeah.
which I aced, by the way. Period. But like, and then we got no, like it was crazy because I studied for like it was insane. And then we got to the thing and we had to pledge allegiance to the Queen, which a lot of people don't know that. Like, you go to the courtroom after you pass the test, you have to pledge allegiance to the Queen, and then afterwards, you're like, you're Canadian, and the sigh of relief I had where I was like, oh my God, so like this is home, like wow, like this is like I cried, like it was so crazy, like I was like this is home, and I don't have to worry about being deported tomorrow or whatever, like I can call it, and I felt like it was nice because it was like, oh, here I am somewhere where I can actually fully be myself and I can go for my dreams and all of that, and it accepted me and I can be here. So like definitely like if and my brain now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, Canada's home, like permanent period. I feel like I'm gonna be here
Yeah.
for like the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So yeah.
You're probably more Canadian than me because even though I was born here, I never pledged allegiance to the Queen, so maybe I'm maybe I'm gonna be kicked out.
No, that's crazy. I talk about that all the time. I'm like, no, like literally. And I pledge allegiance to the whatever, whatever. I was like, oh, okay, period. I didn't know that, but let's go.
So let me ask you more about this culture because, like, I'm born and raised in Toronto, have spent most of my life in Canada, but my parents are Czech, and they emigrated here, and that's why I was born here, and as much as I am a Canadian boy, um I grew up with their, beliefs and their encouragement and their lessons. So how much of maybe Haitian culture from your mom, from family, like motivates you or is in you and is in your music?
I feel like the main thing I'll probably say is resilience. Even though
Mm,
I feel like in a lot of ways, like, Haitians can be very conservative. And I mean, I can clash even with like my own family members about like, it's like, no, like, this is my life. I'm going to do what I want. Like, I'm sorry. But like, that's the whole point of coming to a country where your child can have options is that they do have the
yeah,
option now to live their lives according to like whatever the hell they want. You know what I mean? So, but the one thing that I feel like at the core of it all, like I grew up watching my mother work really hard, my father work really hard. Do we agree and everything? No, but like um I've seen that. I grew up with that. So I feel like that has seeped into me no matter what. And I know I have a song that's like, I don't want to contribute nothing to society and I don't struggle, but I'm a workaholic. Like you don't understand. I do not know what to do with myself if I'm not working and it's a genuine problem, which is the reason why I wrote Rich in the first place, because I was like, I need to manifest a life for myself where it's about joy and like rest and following my dreams and whatever, and not just like feeling like you have to work 24/7. So definitely I will say like hard work, resilience, and just like I feel like I have a high tolerance for BS. Like it's insane. It's really like bad, but also like I feel like it keeps me going too, because I feel like if anyone thinks they would even have the capability of breaking me down or making me bend, like I'm telling you right now, it's not possible. Like it's just not.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere with this. It's not like an infomercial for Visit Haiti, but when I was in university, I did a course. I went to Glendon College, which was like the bilingual campus of York University.
Mhm.
And I did a course called Women in Religion. And I just so happened to do my main essay on Haitian voodoo.
Ooh.
And the thing that I liked the most, or that stuck with me the most about the culture and about that whole thing was the grief process, was how they were, like, hardcore into when someone dies, you had, like, wailing parties almost where you just, like, let everything out, full send, let the emotion there wasn't any of this, like, "Oh, let's t cry later." Are you like that? Ta
I've
does
never
it
heard of that in my life. What the hell? That's crazy. Um, I was like, I mean, I know that like as a child, when I went to the very few funerals I've ever been to in my life, I was like, yeah, no, I'm never going to a funeral again. People definitely like I was gonna say do the most, but I get it. You're grieving, and if you really love someone so much, you don't know what to do with yourself. You're gonna like scream and do all that. But as a child, like 5 year old, 6 year old, I'm like I was traumatized. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Mm.
But and people just cry when they're grieving. That's about it. I don't think there's really like a ceremony to like I'm not joking. I've never heard that in my life. Like go and like put be together and yell and scream and all of that. No, like the like voodoo too. It's definitely something where. Well, I grew up in the capital, and sometimes I would go in the countryside to visit my grandparents and stuff like that. But voodoo is definitely something that like even my parents like it's not really something that my like say my parents do. It's like the old, you hear rumors of the older generations and these stories of voodoos and mermaids and people disappearing when they decide they want to die. They'll just poof disappear out of thin air. Or like my experiences watching like old and I genuinely mean like older like 70s, 80s, 90s and years old. And I was like 20 something years ago, right? Doing their rituals and stuff, and I would feel like I'm seeing something paranormal and stuff. Um, but also, I feel like this is where my fascination with zombies and like my goal in life is to have a zombie show. You don't understand. Like that's literally like a goal. And like because like that came from Haiti with voodoo and stuff like that, and you find out the stories of that, like how it would be people that would they be made to work in the fields and they would drug them and all of that. That whole fascination of that. Um, so those are the Haitian and the voodoo-ness that I know. I don't know about the other one, but like it's definitely interesting and fun and when you get into it for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing, like, where I was going with this is that that ritual, it struck me as so cool because it was people being so authentic and so in the moment and raw and real. And the irony is, like, talking to you, you're all about authenticity, and then you have this, like, term radical honesty with this new album. So it sounds like this is in your DNA as well, this connection to your emotions and feelings.
I feel like 100%. Like, we definitely are not a group of people afraid of like calling things out or like fighting for ourselves or whatever, for sure. So I'll definitely say in that sense, I'm probably really Haitian. Like, um, if I really believe in something, whether it is myself or an idea or something, like I will go above and beyond to make that thing happen. And I think for me right now, it was very much about I need to find out who I am as a person, who I am as an artist. What are the limits of my capabilities in a way? Like what are different emotions that I have access to that I have no idea because I've never tried. And I think this project is not even that at its full potential. It was the beginnings of that. It was my trial run. It was me being like, um, let's see what we could try here
Yeah.
and let's see where that leads us in the future and future projects and stuff like that. So like yeah, definitely radical. Oh my god, I can't even remember the word right now. Radical, so what did you say? Sorry.
Honesty.
Like on,
Radical honesty.
honesty or authenticity, 100%, because I think it's just like if you're yourself and people are mad, what can you do about it? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I always said, that I had a Canadian heart, but Czech blood and a global mind. So maybe you have Canadian heart, Haitian blood, global mind.
Period. Yeah, 100%. Because I think we're all connected to some degree. Like I feel like there's some sort of hive mind going on, and like everybody. I've traveled to so many different countries around the world now, right? So it's like
Mhm.
I always notice how like we're all literally the same people in just different languages, like or whatever. Which is why I feel like social media tells us this as well. Cause like you'll watch like an African person make a video about like this is how my parents grew up, I mean raised me, and here's this little specific thing that we used to do, and then everyone from all around there was like, so it's not just me. Oh my god, I thought this was a Haitian thing, or this was like a I don't know, a Russian thing or whatever. But it's like no, like we're all connected and like 100%. I think when I make music and stuff like that, I always think especially social media, like, can this be something that reaches the whole world and that like
Yeah.
literally the world can relate to? You know what I mean? So yeah, for sure.
I'm with you, man. The more we travel, the more we meet different cultures, different people, the more we realize we're all the same, we all have the same problems, same strife, and it's different, obviously, but we're all humans and we're all humaning together.
Yep.
Let's, um, let's go back again for a second. So I wanna know that, like, aha moment for you with music? Because I do know that, you're like 17, 18, there's a YouTube channel, you're doing really well, but you know that music's your calling ultimately, and you did mention earlier, like, being in Haiti and Michael Jackson. How did you know that you were a musician? How did you know that this is what you had to do?
You know what the whole this is how what you have to do, almost like you don't have a choice and whatever, blah blah blah. Because to me, that's almost feels so limiting. Because I
Mhm,
don't know, but the thing is that I will never forget singing the Song by Cisco to try and impress other people when I was a child. Singing Pocahontas's like wind song to the wind and like singing songs to the wind as a kid, or like when I was doing YouTube and yeah, I'm making a living off of YouTube, but all I kept thinking in the back of my mind was like I'm learning to get rid of my anxiety through YouTube because I didn't know at the time, but I was having panic attacks before every single last one of these recordings. And later on, I was like, oh, so that's what was happening. I was having panic attacks because I was so afraid of human interaction almost. And then like being like, oh, but I want to try to like sing, and I would do covers and stuff like that. And then I released my first song in 2014, where I don't consider that really like when I started making music. I always say I started making music in 2016. Um,
mhm.
where like I just released a song just to do it, like YOLO, and I was like, and I watched some reactions to that, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just like, I don't want to live with regrets. I don't care. I'm just gonna take this loan, and I'm just gonna go ahead. My mother took a loan for me because I quit YouTube. I was like, I'm just gonna stop. I don't care. Like the way I was living too, I was like being so irresponsible. And like when you close all your videos, you don't make money from the ads anymore. So it's like starting fresh, like from scratch. And then like my mother literally, which is insane because like you understand, Haitian parents want you to be doctors and lawyers. That's it. So for my mother to go and take a loan for me to do music, like that's to me looking back on it, that's like crazy. That's insanity, right? And then I did my very first project, Warning, which is like just celebrated its 10th year anniversary, like literally a couple days back, February 19th. And it worked out. And then it worked out until like a whole year after because at first I dropped it and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to pull up Beyonce and I'm going to put all the songs on my page and they're going to be like, wow, he disappeared for a little while, but he came back with like something so amazing because I thought I was pouring my soul out into these
Mhm.
songs, which is what I was doing, right? And I lost like 12,000 followers in an hour. Like it was something crazy. Like it was
Wow.
insane. Yeah. And everyone's like, stick to your to your day jobs and say like do challenges, put cinnamons in your mouth and blah 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 blah. And I remember that affected me so much. I privated all those videos and started going back to making like funny videos or whatever all over again. But then a whole year later, uh I went on Amazon, not Amazon, sorry, on Spotify, and I saw that there was like 30,000 monthly listeners. And I don't even think it was 30,000, less than that. And then like one song had 30,000 streams. And I know that's not a big deal whatsoever, but that did something to my brain. And I was like, I had to keep going. This is crazy. And the rest is history, I guess. So then like it just picked up from that. And then like now I make music to this day. But even now I'm still kind of like, no, like at the end of the day, the goal is to try and find myself.
Mhm.
And so as long as I'm doing that, I always feel like I'm on the right track because I feel like I am finding little pieces of myself every day.
That's beautiful. So it's not necessarily that it's music is the final answer. This is just another part of the self-discovery, and who knows where it will
100%.
lead.
It has to be that. And I feel like the thing is was before this project too, I feel like sometimes when you get signed too, right? Like not to like it's because I don't think this is like anybody's fault in general per se. It just becomes kind of like you almost want to always be successful. Like every song needs to be a song that can have a billion streams. Every song needs to be something because I feel like it's almost like a pressure because like now you're like in the big leagues essentially, right? And you have to prove your worth and prove whatever. And I feel like that can cloud the judgment and the way of like at the end of the day, the most successful songs I've come to realize are just like moments where you really truly genuinely find yourself. And I almost felt like I forgot that for a moment. And I was like, no, but like at the end of the day, remember, like you're trying to find who Teddy is. And if you're only focusing on like, oh my God, am I doing this because it can get like a billion streams or like this is gonna make me famous or build an audience and make money, like how are you ever going to find what Teddy is? And that's when I feel like that kind of made me realize I was like, well, you know, if I don't ever become famous, it is what it is. What can I do about it? But if I do somehow keep making music and it actually like I wake up one day, I'm like, wow, like this is me. Like, wow, this is crazy. Like I really feel like I've won. Point blank period, I've won. And I think I will win in other ways too once I learn to do that. That's just point blank period. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. That's what they yeah.
We work with a lot of artists, and that's the hardest thing to remind them about. I even have to do that for myself, like with this podcast. Would I love to have, views like crazy? Absolutely. But the point of it is to have this conversation with the Teddys of the world and to appreciate this and to learn and grow and better myself. And hopefully, that will transfer to people listening and watching as well. So be authentic with your art, be authentic with your creation, and hopefully it leads to a zombie TV show.
Oh, oh no, that is happening. Period. Like my thing is just like I'm like I don't care if I just make it a book one day or like a comic book or something. Like I have so many ideas because like my whole life I've been watching zombie shows and I'm just kind of like, why don't people do this? I'll talk about this. I'm like one day I will and it's gonna be so fun. Like so let's see what happens. But I that's such a dream of mine alongside with music. I'm just kind of like this. There's so many dreams I have and I refuse to limit myself to just one. And also, I'm just a firm believer that you always need something to like dream about.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, always give yourself a little something to look forward to 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And I don't think I'll ever really let that go, you know? So I think that's just a part of me that's just like, no, I always want to dream about something. And that's one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you. I dig horror and zombie culture as well. And I want to talk about your music, but two things, one stupid, one about your mom. Uh, when I was in university and I did that essay on Haitian voodoo, I discovered that there was a drink called voodoo, like a booze drink, a mixed drink, and I was drinking that nonstop until one day I woke up and realized, Jesus, this thing is so sweet, and it's giving me horrible hangovers. I don't know if you've had one yet, but you should try it. Or not
Oh,
the voodoo,
I thought you were
zombie,
gonna
the zombie.
the drink called Zombie, you mean? Oh, I've
Yeah.
never tried that. Okay, I was gonna I thought you were gonna talk about cremas. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like almost like an eggnog coconut drink that we drink for celebrations in Haiti. If you've never tried that, I'm telling you, fire the drink. It'll be so good. Yeah.
So we both have drinks to try.
Hmm.
Let's talk. I want to ask you about your mom because that's so inspiring. And I've talked to a lot of different artists so far, and their support comes from so many different places. And it's funny because more often than not, you think you're going to get this story about this artist who's super successful and they were down on their luck and everything was horrible. But most of them come from really good households and they've got a lot of support from their family. Was it just your mom? Did other people support you? Did you like how did it go?
Because at the end of the day, a lot of it is like Haitian people, or I was just feel like at the end of the day, people just want um their family members or loved ones to just have good lives. And a lot of that is like, well, if you just become a doctor and a lawyer, you're just gonna have a better life and you're just a more stable job. And what are the chances of you ever succeeding at the arts or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was always a firm believer. I'm like, I don't really care what anybody got to say. If I think I can do something, I can do it. And I've proven that over and over in my life. And it was the same thing with YouTube, made YouTube happen. And I stopped being a YouTuber. And at that point, she saw I definitely had success with like
Mhm.
a form of entertainment or whatever. And then even though she was like, I think you should just go to school or blah blah blah. I was like very adamant. I'm like, no, like I stopped YouTube because I want to explore making music. It was making me no money. I was making me no money whatsoever. But I was like, if I have this money, I'm going to invest it in myself and it's gonna make me the money back. And I'm gonna have a whole nother life with music. And then she was very like, she saw, I guess, how passionate I was about it. And she's like, you know what? I'm just going to do this and then you're gonna pay me back. And I was like, period. And so I went to move in with her and then I released the song, and a year later, it made me enough money to pay her back and everything. And I was like, I've succeeded. Let's go. And I don't know. Like sometimes I think also it's important to remind loved ones that you're also your own person and that you also
Mhm.
have your own limitations and it doesn't have to be just like what they see because they cannot see something for you but like you see it so clearly for yourself that you can make it happen. And I think that's what it is for me. It's like I feel like I have such a strong vision of myself. Like to me in my mind, like another dream of mine is like, and I feel like that's what I'm seeking with music more than anything. I'll never forget watching I can never remember what it is, but it was the um Freddie Mercury doing I think We Are the Champion, I think it was for like this Medicaid or something. I don't remember where it was like them performing on this thing. And it was just like the audience was so big that it looked like ants. And that altered my brain chemistry as a kid, even though this is not my era. I'm not that old. Oh my God. But it was like, it's just I remember seeing footage of that and being like, whoa, like what? Like this is crazy. And it's just been my dream to one day be able to do a show where like I look into the ground and everyone looks like ants, but they're there to see me. And I hold on to that for dear life because that means that like whatever I did made me more human and I became more part of the hive, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
To some degree, that would mean I would have to have had connected with somebody. You know what I mean? Because there's
yeah.
no way you would achieve something like that without other people realizing that like, hey, you're just like us. There would have to be a level of relatability or whatever there. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's fascinating. If I find that motivation, self-motivation, tenacity, like sticking to a routine, believing in yourself, those are things that not everyone can do, you know? In fact, probably fewer people can do that than can do. Where does that drive come from in you? You know, you mentioned that you were this kinda shy kid in Haiti, and you were, like, kind of taking care of yourself to not get into trouble, but, like, tell me about that.
See, but the thing is, it's like now I look back on it and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, no, like I'm gonna do anything no matter what. You don't understand. I don't really care what anyone says. I don't care who I get mad. I don't care
Mhm,
whatever. I'm getting shit done because it's what I do. Right. But the thing is, it's like I am terrified 24/7. I am like, I don't want to be no, like this is not you don't understand it. I'm really understating it. I feel like at all times like this level of anxiety that is both good and bad and also like this I do not want to live with regrets type of energy that is in me, or like this thing that is calling to me, telling me, yo, you can do this point blank, period. And the only person that can stop you from doing this is you. So I don't care if you're shaking on that fucking stage. Get your ass out there. I don't care if you think people are gonna laugh at you for dancing on
mhm,
stage. Get some choreography lessons and you're gonna perform on that fucking stage with dancers and you're gonna do what you need to do. Period. I don't care if you think people are gonna judge you for these lyrics. Write the lyrics because that's how you feel. Period. It's almost like I I'm bullying myself into being like, you need to stand up for yourself. You need to not be the little boy that feels like he's invisible or has to be afraid of the world 24/7. Or sometimes I would imagine myself as the guy running on the roof, and then the next morning people are talking about him like, just try to find him. Like, you're not him. You can be yourself now. You're allowed. And
yeah,
it's like the world is moving and it's evolving. And if you stay the little boy forever that is terrified, then like your life is gonna pass you by and you're gonna become one of those people that are 80 and all they're filled with is like regret. And so that I feel like to me is the thing that keeps me like, no, honestly, I don't care who it is. I don't care how much power you have. I don't care about anything. If I firmly believe that I can do something, I'm just going to do it, period. And that doesn't mean I'm the most confident slash cocky person in the world. It means that I care enough about myself ever so this much to be like, I don't want to regret this 5 years from now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And also, I'm such a firm believer now in that there's no time limit. Now more than ever, at like 34, I'm like, I feel like I can do whatever the hell I want. I could start over tomorrow if I wanted to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and letting go of this like time limit thing, like that gave me so much anxiety in my 20s and give so much of these kids and these students and whatever, like anxiety. And now I'm like, no, 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 no. No. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Literally. Like, if I'm able to just wake up and just be like, no, this is what I want and this is what I'm gonna do. And I don't care if you think like if you're 18 it can't be a possibility or whatever. I'm like, no, I decided that like it is a possibility and I'm proving it every single day by like being able to do things like this with you or like live my life the way I want or like be on the radio or like do things that like I didn't even choose but people decided to be like, hey, I think I see it in you and I'm going to give you this platform or this opportunity or whatever. Like if I didn't fight for myself just that little bit much like 5 years ago or 10 years ago or yesterday, it would have never happened. You know what I mean? So I think definitely there's just a regret that I don't have that gives me this like unconditional strength to like really stand up to anybody and I really don't care who it is. I'm like, nope, I said I'm gonna do this, so therefore I'm gonna do it because you're not gonna be the reason why I regret something tomorrow. And that's just on like point blank period. You know what I mean? So like yeah.
I love a fired up Teddy. That was good. Preach. So I agree with you. Like on our tombstone, it doesn't say here lies person, this is what he didn't do or she didn't do. It says this is what was accomplished. So
Mhm,
I'm a big believer that the more you do, the better. I had this rule in university that as soon as I was high out of my mind one night and I was like, wait a second, as soon as I'm scared, lazy, bored, in my pajamas, broke to do something, that means I need to do it. And so I would immediately go into those things because my body was saying no, my mind was saying no. It sounds like you had that experience as a, young kid in Haiti, and you now are saying to that child like, "Yo, you need to get over it. You need to live like this. It's okay." And you're almost motivating yourself by saying, "It's worse to have the regrets." And so
mhm.
your choice is only to say yes because 'cause you'll feel worse if you say no.
Exactly. Like literally exactly. Because I think for me, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, where it's like I have songs like Talk About Me, where I'm like, you said go to the gym and I'll be successful. And like here I am, like I'm still successful regardless, was like I think me when I was always actively trying to be skinny or like starving myself or whatever, like it would only just destroy my body and keep me bigger, or like I would lose 100 pounds and then gain 120. You know what I mean? Like it would always be so crazy when I was so desperately trying to fit a box. Whereas like now I've lost so much weight and I'm maintaining it because I fixed my relationship with food. It's like, no, like I'm going to eat more protein to build muscle and I want to run more so I have more stamina. So on stage I can do this performance and like give people a good show. And that makes it feel less about trying to prove something, but rather functionality and just being able to like, no, this is just the purpose of this body that I'm trying to create or I'm creating from now on or whatever. Right. And I feel like it's the same thing. It's just kind of like, um, instead of worrying so much about what other people have to say or their perspective on things, I think sometimes you just have to be like, what is it that I want or what is that makes me the happiest and build something around that? Because I think a lot of people is the complete opposite. It's like, oh, I don't care what makes me happy. I need to do this to survive. But what you're doing is teaching your brain to only see the environment in a way where like I'm in survival mode until the day I die. Whereas
Yeah.
like if you choose your own crisis, like for example, like if I'm like, ugh, I don't care. I'm not gonna have money for the next 3 months because I'm gonna put all my money into like this performance or whatever, right? If I have no money for those next 3 months, I'm gonna have a smile on my face because that was a choice that I made and it made me happy and I have zero regrets. Whereas like if now I had no money for those 3 months and I didn't do what I wanted to do anyways, it'd just be like I'd just be, like I didn't do what I want and now I have no, you know what I mean? Like you get to choose how you view the world. If you and even something that can be seen as bad to somebody else, you can fully live with because it was your choice. And
Yeah.
literally, everybody has a choice. Period. Yeah.
I love that. You are so real and honest and raw and authentic, and I love it. That's exactly what these conversations are about. We've talked about your motivation, your mindset, mental wellness. Let's talk a little bit about the music and
Mhm.
not just your music, but like I love taking away advice for other artists. And sometimes it's big and sometimes it's small. This next one is going to be a little bit of both. I am so passionate about brand and representation and marketing and things being clean. I think it's because I was, as a kid, like collecting baseball cards and I loved completing things. I hated when something was missing, even spreadsheets. I love filling it out. And if things
Mhm.
are not complete, I hate it. When an artist says, I'm going to start to like get stuff online, I say the first thing you need to do is take stock of your ecosystem and make sure everything is clean and consistent. I hate when someone's like artist one on X and artist two, three on this platform, and on Instagram it's artist, Wood. You have the same thing everywhere. It looks really slick, but I love that it's I am Teddy with an EM. How did you decide on that?
Because I am Teddy wasn't available. Because I wanted to spell it regularly and I was like, oh, this is what I want. And then like everything was taken, and I was like, I'm just gonna spell it with an E. YOLO. And it's like, and that was it. And yeah, like the uniformity of things I feel like matters too. But I mean, but like some of the biggest artists in the world, sometimes like it doesn't match. Like Taylor Swift, for example, she's like different and different. I think at the end of the day, what matters the most is the connection that you build. I think that's something that even for myself, because that can't be the end all be all of this conversation, because it's not like I'm the biggest artist in the world or anything. But like, I think what I'm starting to realize for myself is to let people in. Don't
Mm,
ever think, "Ah, this is so embarrassing. People didn't show it," or like I need to show myself when I'm at my best 24/7, or when the big things are happening is what you need to show, and that's it. And I've really come to realize, and I feel like I'm realizing this like 10 years into making music. It's like, show them the little things, show them the good, show them the ugly, because then they're gonna feel like they've actually watched your journey unfold. And I feel like there's a deeper connection that's gonna happen that way. And I'm really going to start testing that out. And I've already started it where I'm like, I'm showing them my rehearsals now. I'm showing them the rehearsals where I think I'm literally flopping so hard, but it's new. I've never done this before. Of course, it's not gonna be perfect right away. But then when that show comes, you best believe you'll see improvement. When 5 more shows from now, you're gonna see even more improvement. Like, and they're gonna get to see that entire journey with me and be like, wow, like I remember when he posted his first video saying, I'm really gonna like believe in myself and just start doing choreo, stuff like that. Like, believe in yourself, try to understand how you want to position yourself. I guess in the industry, if you will, all these little things that I'm like literally am realizing in the past couple months. So I'm just like, who am I? How do I want the industry to perceive me? How do I want to like be seen as, and I feel like the thing that comes to me, I'm like, if I really think of like my ideal artist that I want to be, it's like somebody that can entertain. I want to entertain people, and also at the same time I want to be able to belt like Adele if I need to, and then be like, I don't want to country, like, because sometimes that's the note I would have. I would watch certain artists, I'm like, but I wish sometimes she would just let loose. Why are you just doing ballads all the time? Or like another artist, like I'd be like, oh, she just raps all the time. I just wish sometimes she would give me something a little bit more emotional. And I'm just like, well, I feel like I could do both. So like just do both. And what is the thing where it wouldn't clash if I did that? And I kept thinking of like The Greatest Showman and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of like, wait, if I try to learn to be more of an entertainer, 1 second I could be like da 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 da, and then the other next I could be like la, da, 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 and it makes sense. And now that I'm aware of that, how can I build a whole world around that? And I feel like it's gonna be, I feel like fascinating not only for myself but like for other people. This new whole world that I'm about to create, like even after this project or while I'm still working on the cycle of this project. You know what I mean? So uh, I'm excited about that even for myself. So that's,
Yeah.
I guess, advice. Yeah.
So, less so about having everything clean and tailored and more so about just being real with what you're presenting.
People are craving that right now. I think we're so used to polish. We're extremely used to polish. That's the celebrities of the past. Like there's no connection. There's no nothing. Look at Cardi B and her thriving and stuff like that. She's so real. She doesn't care if we know about her family drama. I'm sure she would love to keep some things private or whatever. But at the end of the day, the artists that are thriving the most right now, and this is a pattern that I'm noticing more and more, are just the people that are just like, I'm gonna go on live and just show you my real life. I'm gonna like in the music, I'm gonna say the thing that um I just want to say, and I don't care if everybody doesn't get it. I think there's a level of realness required now, and the polishing factor comes with understanding um how that helps your brand. Like if you understand that your perspective is, for example, somebody that is like let's say I'm like, oh, like I'm a bad boy, but I'm a bad boy in the sense of like I'm myself, and that what makes me bad. Then like every single last song that you make needs to kind of reinforce that. When you post your videos online, you can still post the same thing, but the angle has to come from like that. You know what I mean? And you're not limited in any way, shape, or form, but just understanding how you want to present yourself to the world gives you the proper lens to tackle every video you want to post online. So now, even if you don't post like things that are hyper polished all the time, they will still be connected by the fact that like, oh, like we get what he's trying to do because that's his brand. Like Mariah Carey will always be a lover girl. Everything she does will always come from the lover girl lens. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And it doesn't matter if she's tomorrow, she posts herself no makeup, nothing, we'll still get it because she's such a yearner. She's such, you know what I mean? Like that's, I don't know if I'm explaining myself right, but like that.
Yeah, no, I think that was an excellent response, and it ties in so well to the point that, with this new project, you're exploring yourself more, you're diving deeper into your psyche, you're bringing art, right? And like
Mhm,
fashion and things into the world, and you're trying to, I don't want to say control those, but you're taking charge of those things more with all of your creativity.
mhm.
You're now with the major, the Sony Music Canada, Sony Music Entertainment Canada, so that it's technical. Uh, what are one or two of the biggest things that, as an independent artist to now, were so important to get you from there to here? Things that other artists have to do, other than have good art.
But even that's suggestive, having good art, right? Like it's like, I don't know if I'm the right person, honestly, to even speak on like what somebody can do to get signed or anything like that because like I don't know if that's my place, honestly. I think honestly the main thing anybody needs to focus on is like try to find yourself in your music. And I really now more than ever firmly believe that like even if it's just for 1 second, whether it's a silly emotion or a very serious emotion, that's going to give you something that is untouchable because like if you truly find a piece of yourself, that's like evergreen. Like you can promote it forever and like that can create so many opportunities for yourself. And also like um just be yourself and stay true to that. And I think if you do that, people that want to like fuck with you will fuck with you, point period. And like that can come from anywhere. Because for me, I know it was just me existing, and then people just came out of nowhere, and I just had to make a choice. And I
Mhm.
think for other people, that's literally what it is. Don't seek it out almost, because I think sometimes you'll lose yourself. Just really, genuinely, truly, just like find yourself. Look internally. Everything you're looking for is already right here. Yeah.
So focus internally, not externally. Focus on your art and your craft and just do it and keep learning from it and improving on it. And don't stop, and eventually it'll work out.
How, people really underestimate that. I know it sounds so corny and it sounds so like, oh my God, don't stop and eventually you will work out. But I'm not joking. Has somebody that has literally done every single thing that I've wanted to do, the only thing that has worked for me was doing it over and over, failing 1,000 times, and then landing on that one thing that changed everything. Whether
Mhm.
that's YouTube, whether that's TikTok, whether that's music, whether that's literally fashion, whether that's literally anything. Anything I've ever done has literally been that. I will suck at it for like years, and then as the months are passing by, more and more starts making sense, making sense, making sense, making sense. And then boom, you have a moment where like, wait a minute. And then boom, it works. And then now everyone's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But the thing is, it took me learning so much about myself. And I think that's generally what it is at the end of the day. No matter what it is that you want, it doesn't matter what it is. Literally just keep doing it until like it works. But the thing is, not just keep doing it until this it works like you're doing the same thing over and over from every little failure or from every little thing that like didn't go exactly how you wanted to. What were the positives and the negatives? What worked? What did you notice? What did you go into your algorithm and you're just like, oh, everybody stopped watching at 30 seconds. Everybody kept watching onto this. Okay, what did I do in the video or in the song or in the whatever up until that point that kept their attention? And what did I do when they dipped? Notice those things and try to copy it again. And oh shit, this stayed the whole video. Boom. Like you know what I mean? Like keep doing it, but keep adapting, 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 and learn and create your own formula. Period.
I couldn't agree more. I get something like 3 to 500 press releases a day. That's just the nature of being a publisher in the entertainment industry. Uh, I always find it fascinating when the press release is done organically and authentically and actually matches the exact story.
Mhm.
I have a quote here. It's a declaration of selfhood. Your new album dropped in November. That's literally what you have told me for the last hour. Uh, I'm so grateful for your time. I only have one question before we wrap up. I really loved this other quote that you had in the press release, which was, I learned to realize, or I grew to realize that weaknesses are actually my strengths.
100%. Like I will die on this hill. Like because you only see it as a weakness because of other people. Like when I'm by myself and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I don't give a fuck. But when I start thinking of like how other people seeing what I'm seeing in the mirror could look like, then it becomes like, oh my God, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. But then the moment I just own that thing that I'm terrified of, all of a sudden everything works. All of a sudden it's like, wow, like he's really doing it. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that out loud. Well, I couldn't even have the balls to do that. Or like this person that like you used to they used to hide their freckles all the time, and then somebody decided I'm not gonna hide my freckles, and then it becomes a trend. You know what I mean? Like everything that you think is a flaw is something that love and hate is on the same coin. It's like you can flip it. Period. Like
Yeah.
whatever it is that you think is your weakness, like you can turn it into your greatest strength, no matter literally what it is. So 100%, I agree with that. Yeah.
This I'm so appreciative of your time. I feel like this whole conversation has been me attending the Church of Teddy, and I feel empowered. And my day is going to be amazing, and my weekend is going to be amazing. I
Let's
can't wait to
go.
see you in concert. I'm going to hand you the
Juno
mic.
Fest. Oh my God. Like Juno Fest coming up March 27th. I don't know the time of it yet, but I'm going to put on the best show I've ever put on in my life, and I stand by that. Like I'm training like crazy. And then whatever opportunities coming after that, I don't even know. But I know they're in the works right now, and I have to go talk to people. But like what I know for a fact right now, Juno Fest, Juno Fest, Juno Fest. Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. Yeah.
Why don't you take that fire and that energy and give us the final word? What do viewers and listeners need to take away as one final piece of advice from you?
Be yourself, go for it, do it scared. Do it scared, do it scared, do it scared, do it scared, girl. Do a little dance with it actually. And just like that's it. And also follow me on my socials. I am Teddy. I love y'all.